Hi, I'm JB Wagner. Welcome to my channel. Don't worry about giving me a like or subscribing. I'm just doing this for fun and to share information. I've been a photographer for over 50 years. I own a lot of different digital cameras now and a lot of different lenses. And everything that I review, I own. None of it's loaned to me. Today, I'm going to discuss using the Canon 24-105 f4-7.1 lens on the Canon R50. Now this lens was designed for the full frame camera R series, but it works quite well on the APS-C sensor camera. Spoiler alert, I give my conclusions up front. I really like this lens, and I got it for a ridiculous price on Canon's website for $199. It was, quote, refurbished, whatever that means. It looked brand new to me, and MSRP is $399. So the first reason I bought it was because of its affordability. You can pick it up on eBay in all likelihood for $300 or less at any time in great condition. This is a kit lens sometimes for the more expensive R series cameras. So some people buy it with a kit and then to sell it because they pick out different lenses and they don't need this particular lens. So it's potentially a great value. So this lens appears to be fairly large, but it is quite light and it balances great on the R50. I really enjoy using it from an ergonomic point of view. It does take a 67mm filter. It includes switches on the side for turning on manual focus versus autofocus and for activating control functions and the image stabilization, which this is rated at 5 stops of image stabilization by Canon. So with the full frame zoom range of 24-105, the APS-C equivalent is about 38-168. Now I'm using this in conjunction with the 10-18, so I have a 10mm gap between the two, which is not a problem for me. If I shoot at 18mm with the 10-18, I'll just crop to deal with that 10mm. So this sort of alleviates any role for the kit lens for me. Buying the kit lens probably makes sense just because it's so cheap as a bundle, but I wouldn't do it unless it's really cheap. It just doesn't, the kit lens just isn't wide enough to be a useful everyday lens. That's why I'm thrilled that the 10-18 has come along. As far as build quality goes, this lens is clearly superior to either the kit lens or the 10-18, both which have plastic lens mounts, whereas this is a full metal lens mount. And the zoom dampening is superior, and so is the manual focusing dampening. When it comes to image quality, I'm going to include a link to Christopher Frost's YouTube review of this lens. It's a very technical review, and it's done on a full frame camera, and he finds the lens somewhat perplexing in that the f4-7.1 he views as problematic because it's too dark on the telephoto range, and then also there's weak corner sharpness in the wide angle area. So when it comes to using it on the R50 or any of the APS-C cameras, I think you can overcome both those objections. First, corner sharpness is not nearly the issue because the smaller sensor size is not reaching out to those corners and capturing the corners the way a full frame would. So you actually are in more of the sweet spot of the lens. And I'll provide some images in the video for you to look at that I think prove this point. Secondly, I shot the images that I will show you at 3200, 6400 ISO, all at f8, just around the house with just window light in the rooms. And I had great results. When you have 5 stops of image stabilization and you can shoot clean images at high ISOs, you don't have to have a fast lens to do good work in available light. Now, I need to mention the fact that I only shoot RAW, and I process all my RAW images in DxO Photo Lab, which has fantastic noise reduction feature for getting rid of artifacts and any grain-like noise, and renders incredible images from high ISO files. So I highly recommend, if you've never used it, you can download DxO software for free, and you can give it a try for 30 days. I also use Topaz Labs Photo AI, which has the most remarkable sharpening software and image recovery software. It also has really good grain reduction software. It's worth noting too that everything I review in my videos I own personally, including the software, the hardware, and I'm not paid by anybody. I'm not trying to sell anything in particular. I'm just trying to share with you the benefits of my experience.
Let's take a look at some images I shot on the R50 with the 24-105 lens. I'm not sure how these will come out. They were all saved at 4K format, and I don't know how they'll be reduced by YouTube for whatever you're using to view them on, but we'll give it a go. In each instance, I have close to a full frame except it's 16:9 perspective, and then I have a cropped in look to see if you can see some more detail. All of these images were shot in either ISO 3200 or 6400 at f8, handheld in available window light, with no other artificial light added. This is a photo of my transceivers that I used in doing my recording work. Here's an even tighter crop. All these images were shot in RAW, processed in DxO Photo Lab, then converted to JPEG for display here. I just bought these gloves. They seem like a perfect prop to use because of the text and the texture in the gloves. You can see the closer crop here coming up right now. And again, f8, available light. Can you believe the lack of artifacts and grain at 3200 ISO? These images should make it really clear just how good the noise reduction and noise cancellation algorithms are in DxO Photo Lab. Here we have a set of crescent wrenches I bought on sale at the same time as I bought the gloves. And I think they're nice for showing all the texture as well as the sharpness, the text. But then the green background shows you that's the perfect place for artifacts and grain, but there isn't any. So here we are a little closer in, and you should be getting a pretty good idea of why I shoot RAW and why I use DxO Photo Lab to process my RAW images. I'll wrap this up with some images of a pillow. Well, it's one image, and then it includes the cropped in image. And assuming this all comes out the way it should, it'll show you just how well you can take photos handheld in low light with this very slow lens at f8. Pretty amazing.
I really like the balance of this lens in my hand. The zoom ring makes a perfect place to for your fingers for focusing and zooming if you're doing manual focus, or if you're just zooming. It's very nicely weighted. And for those who complain about the camera being too little, this actually adds, along with the cage I've got, to a very substantive feel. Some of you might wonder how this compares to the 18 to 150 dedicated APS-C Canon lens, the RFS model. I don't know. I haven't shot that model. I do know it's $100 more expensive at MSRP. It does not have the switches on the barrel for the control functions. You have to do that through the screen. This lens, they both weigh around 400 grams, just a little less. Even though it has a bigger barrel, it's actually a slightly lighter lens, I believe. And they both extend in a similar manner through the zoom range. So, you know, this again is an incredible value proposition if it incorporates a range that is useful to you. So that's my take on this Canon 24-105 f4-7.1. I think it's a remarkable value. I think it works really well. I know it works really well on the R50, and it should be just as good on other APS-C sensor cameras. Not exactly what it's designed for, but if it works for your focal range needs, I think it's a great option. I just shoot it at f8 all the time and keep it simple on aperture priority and get outstanding results. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below, and thanks for watching.